biggest headline coming out of this episode is that we have the debut of, in the words of Stewie Griffin,
Lewis, 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 Lewis.
Lois Lane, played by Erica DeChance. And I really like her already. Or Durance, excuse me. I like her already. It's funny that this episode has Erica Durance, this version's Lois Lane, and Margot Kidder, who was Lois Lane in the Reeves movies.
Again, this is like the passing of the torch. It actually felt like another passing of the torch of the legacy of actor who portrayed an iconic character.
They
All we
never
need now is Gene Hackman up here.
Dude, because that's always been Michael Rosenbaum's dream to have him on the show. But we all know that Gene Hackman is not really a TV actor.
Not to mention, he pretty well retired by this point. I think
When did he retire as an actor?
I will say, don't expect Gene Hackman to show up, okay? Don't expect
that. Would have been amazing, but sadly that never happened, it seems like. But again, Margot Kidder and Erica Durance never interact on screen, but it was nice to see both of them there, and it was a nice connection between the two. We got Christopher Reeve and Tom Welling. Now it's like the two Lois Lanes are
and also they shared, and this is I believe that this is the second time that Margot Kidder and Annatine O'Toole shared screen time together, because they were both in Superman 3.
Yeah, Aaron White, fan of the show, sent me a photo hey, they were in Superman 3 together. And I'm like,
what a reunion.
Small world. Clark flies in this episode, which I thought was very neat. He does the thing where it's like Clark Kent is dead, and then he's build up.
He pushes Martha out of the way as he's in slow-mo going into the sonic boom as he's taking off flight. Which when I saw that in the promo, I lost my mind. I was like, oh my god, they're actually gonna have him fly in the show? Holy shit.
What was were you giving goosebumps, Ryan, when you saw him go when he just did this and just went up in the air? Where you're like, oh, he's gonna fly?
Yeah, it legit took me aback because I thought it was the coolest thing. I could bitch about the effects, but it was 04.
Dude, I thought the effects looked great, even on television.
That effect was so good in that show. They use that now for the season. How it just says when it says developed by Alfred Gruff and Miles Miller. It literally, they only use that of him just going towards the earth. And by the way, how did you like the new opening credits?
I liked them. It's fun to recognize, be oh, that's Asylum. Oh, that's this. My one thing is that there's this one scene in the credits where it's this Smallville pep rally. It's in the middle of town, and I'm just what episode is that from? It feels
that was in the pilot it was in the pilot of the meteor shower when they were doing the pep rally. Then the meteor started to come in the pilot episode at the beginning of the prologue.
Yeah, when they get in the car before the meteor shower.
Yeah, when Martha and Jonathan were getting in the car during the Smallville pep rally during when the Smallville won their game or something.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's been a minute, so I clearly missed that.
Oh, Ryan, I hope you like this because this is the last time they used this font, the white font on Smallville.
Oh yeah, this is literally the
opening credits up. They changed the opening credits
by the time you get to season 5.
To keep Clark and Lois from investigating Chloe's death. Yeah, he sends the T-1000 after this.
Apparently, he sends.
He's not even a T-1000. He's not even worth to be called that. He's
not even a machine. He's like the dollar who has a liquid metal.
He's what's it called, Ryan? The legally. What's it called? The one you call it?
The off-brand, non-union, legally distinct. I'm calling him the T-100.
I wouldn't call him T-100. I'm
gonna call him a Walmart T-1000.
The T-1. Well, what's it called? 1 penny.
The T-1 cent.
The T-1 cent. Yeah, that was.
I think they were able to get away with the legal rights because they technically had the Terminator rights from Warner Brothers when they were still had it at the time. I think they were able to get away with it.
I don't know. It's so stupid though. It's so stupid. He has this. He literally hits Lois upside the head with his and knocks her down
with this heavy, like a fucking knight sword that's so heavy to swing, the barbarian sword. And also, you could have transformed into any material of sharp weapons that could be light and very fast and agile. But yeah, you have to make a fucking heavy-ass barbarian sword for a heavy-ass swing to kill someone. If you're going to kill someone and assassinate them, be creative and be smart about it.
Also, it doesn't really help things that the finale of this episode takes place in a big ass foundry like in T2. All that was
Oh
missing
yeah,
was this
that
dude
fucking
to
steel
like
factory.
to like stab Chloe and be like, call to John. Call John. I'm just like,
Except
can
that
you
he just strangles her to kill her to stab her neck. Like, why couldn't you just stab her in the chest and kill her and be done with
Why
it?
does he even kidnap her? Why does he just kill her there? I
What
don't
was what was
understand.
with the theatrics of
Why
kidnapping
not
her?
kill
What
her?
was your angle?
Also, where'd you find her at? How did he find her? One, it's really creepy that he got a job at the high school of the girl he's dating,
yeah,
Yeah, that's the
especially
part I
since
did
she's a
not
student.
like. Yeah, I
that
thought
was
that was
off.
ridiculous. Like, why would you do that? Like, why do you need
You're
to
asking to get fired and arrested.
like?
You're
I know,
asking.
like that was such a
Even
television
though she's an
bullshit
adult,
thing.
you can still get arrested because she's a
Yeah,
student at
because
a high
it's
school.
wrong. Yeah, because she's a student in high school and you're the assistant football coach. That would be wrong in so many ways. I don't care if you're an adult. That would not work. You
If
would
I
not
was
get
lying,
away
I'm
with
like,
that.
that's a bad idea. That is a
I guess
bad
I guess they needed more dramatic tension on this series. They add more conflict.
I will say, I think he was great to Clark. I like how he treated Clark.
Yeah,
Like,
he was
I
not
thought
the
he was a
asshole
really cool
type.
coach.
Yeah,
He didn't
because
try to come on to him strong. Like he was being like a good understanding, like listening to Clark and even though he knows that like Clark and Lana dated one time, but he doesn't come off as a jealous boyfriend at first when they first cross paths.
Especially how the open episode starts with Clark on football, and then the guy just literally he drinks it and it's like, I'm leaving. And he's like, you checking out my girl, man? And then he just shows up in the locker room with a fucking shotgun to kill
Yeah,
her.
one question
Like,
is
damn.
where the fuck did he get the shotgun?
did he
Where did
just
he get
like
it
Did he go
from?
home and get it?
he must have beaten up Jonathan Kent to be like, give me that gun. Shh.
That
Like,
does look like identical to Jonathan's gun. Did he check
Also,
from him?
all right, I love this opening, but there's one issue I had. Nobody's in the locker room right now. Like, there's nobody. And did he wait till everybody left? And he's just like, what if the coach would have left? Would he have chased him out in the parking lot?
First of all, why was Coach taking a shower in the locker room? I mean, he was just an
Yeah.
assistant coach. He's not in the football team. How does that make any sense?
I have yet to see a shower at the Talon, just saying.
I mean,
Yeah, that's a good. Well, yeah, there's supposed to be a shower upstairs in the apartment. If I don't recall.
There is.
Yeah, there is. They have a bathroom upstairs in the room.
Okay,
I'm
well,
just saying.
never mind then. Yeah, what is the dude showering at the high school for? It's bad
Yeah,
enough dating
like,
one of the students. That's
I mean, yeah, you could just change your clothes, but you're not running out with the team. You're an assistant coach for crying out loud.
Maybe he's a creeper. Maybe he's like, hey, I now want to. He's just like,
I mean,
hey,
he's
buddies, what
he's
up?
dating a high school student. He's dating a high school student. I mean, what can we tell you?
Maybe it's like Scary Movie 1 where with Ray, where he goes in there and goes, hey, man. He's like, hey, walks in the shower. Hey, how you doing? Nice
On the
penis.
block hand, on the block hand side.
High
That's what the
five on
shower's a
ass,
rotten
everyone.
egg.
You get to town, goes, yeah, come here, buddy. And I'm like, coach, stop. It's weird. And he goes, high five. He's like hitting them with the towel. All right, last one in the shower is a rotten egg. I'm gonna get you. Woohoo! Woohoo! Like, that's a scene in Scary Movie, by the way. That is a scene in Scary Movie.
That's something I'm looking for that watch party of Scary Movie 1. Like that you're in another tree for a laugh for that movie.
I seriously doubt if that was a scene that happened. Jensen Ackles would say, fuck no, I'm not doing that scene. Because he's already, it's weird. He's dating a student. Now he's chasing a male athlete. It's like, no, Jason's not that guy. He's not
And also the ex quarterback who's like literally about to commit murder.
Like, I thought that was
Oh no, I did like that moment where he's given it all the files that he had on Clark, but also talking about his darkness that he can't always control, that he feels
that speech
like
was
tripping
so
off.
good.
Michael Rosenbaum really sold that line. Like that was so good.
There's a darkness in me that I can't always control. I'm starting to think that's my curse.
Like, oh man, every time.
What'd you think about that Lex speech, Ryan?
Oh, it was so good. I mean, it's Rosenbaum, so come on. But it's like we're inching closer to we're going down that slippery slope that eventually leads to Machiavellian Vince McMahon, the Lex Luthor from the comics that's just evil incarnate. We're not there yet, but we're getting there. Though,
But he's crawling it in. He's
I
starting
like
to
how he's
plant the
trying to win
seed.
Clark's friendship back. Like how he gets the outfits and everything. And
Which that was that was just so convenient. Like he didn't even try to hide. Like, come on, dude. Lex, you really
not
give a
even-
shit about the Smallville team winning a high school fucking. The only reason you did that because Clark is on the team, and you thought that given the New fucking uniforms would win back the friendship. Well, come on, dude. You're better than that, dude.
Did
Not to
Jason
mention
take-
that the uniforms have a big old Luther Core logo on
Yeah,
the
Luther
side.
Core Whoa as a promotion, as like a promo, whatever,
Basically,
advertisement.
basically beating the NBA to it by at least a decade because the NBA teams now all have logos on their jerseys now too. Biggest headline to take away, we get the Flash in this episode, and I thought that I thought the introduction of the Flash here was great. Shout out to this actor Kyle Gallner, who has actually gotten a lot of work. He was Vince Schneider in the 2022 Scream, the Scream 5, I guess we're calling it. But he's gotten pretty steady work. He's been in Smile. He was Joel
Nightmare
in
on Elm
that
Street
movie.
remake?
So yeah, he's gotten quite a bit of work. So good for him. But he was great in this episode. This whole episode was just fantastic.
Oh, and
And
he
I
was
will say
and he
this.
was also in Jennifer's Body. The
Do we have
emo
to
good
talk about
dude.
that movie? That fucking Diablo Cody bitch. You had to ruin it, Maya. You had to fucking ruin it, Diablo Cody. You
Oh,
had
yeah.
to. He had to let his career.
For
Yes,
the,
he did one shitty film. Okay,
for the small talk audience, I forgot to let you know there's a few things that Jacob hates for reasons I cannot fathom.
I can give you all the reasons why I hate her. Like, I will tell you straight up.
I'm about to end this man's whole career.
I don't have 3 days. I've got a marathon to run. The one thing, though, that John Glover did great in this episode is when he's in prison and Martha's there and Martha's about to storm out. They're like, do you remember the time in the forest? And I'm just like, oh, that's the ticket. And sure enough, she got it. And I'm like, all right, that was very nice. I like that.
And I was playing tag with Dad, and all of a sudden I started running faster than I'd ever run before. And you and Dad had to call Sheriff Ethan. And when you saw me, you started crying. There wasn't. And then you held me in your arms, and you told me I was just special. I'm your special boy.
That was touching. I love that. I love that when he brought that up.
I'm just saying, yeah, the lighters do not like Lana or Chloe. You could tell because Lois Lane's got the best dialogue and the best character stuff. But Lana Lang and Lois, they're like, you can go fuck yourself.
Like
fucking
grown ass man.
No one's gonna notice.
They still like he's in his 20s. I mean, that's like I'm just waiting for Chris Hansen to walk around the corner and go, so Lex, you want to hit on a high school girl, huh?
Have a seat, Mr. Luther. But
Take
But,
a seat.
oh my god! Insert the Catch a Predator clip and then put Lex's face on it.
What are you doing here today?
Oh my god!
The Catch a Predator clip from Dateline.
I did like one thing I loved about it when they were in the high school, okay, like, and he was in the locker room. How you hear Boulevard
Boulevard Broken Dreams by Green Day.
I walk a lonely road, the only one that I have ever known.
I love that so much. How he's like, it feels like
it.
such a
It fits.
Superman moment.
It fits into the context in the
My
scene in the locker room.
shadows on. Like he's putting,
And also,
his,
it's nostalgia, 2000s nostalgia, dude. We
he's
grew
putting
up
his gear
there.
on, like he's like about to go to war. Like he knows he has to do something bad, and he's like, I can't tell nobody. And he's literally like, he literally has to deal with those moral complications, saying, if I don't go on that field and do something bad, people are gonna die.
People are gonna die if I don't do anything. So he's gonna have to make the tough decision and live with the consequences.
I mean, I love also, and then he goes outside and his dad talks to him. He goes, Dad, and he gives that line to his dad about when I put on this uniform, it's like, and oh man, it was so good. I'm like, this is why I love Smallville, right?
And he always has to like control his strength, and every time that without having to lose it. And that was a good speech that he gave to his dad. But also, I agree with you. But also the product placement of Old Spice, brought to you by Old Spice.
And then, of course, like Lex, I do like that when he becomes possessed, he's playing the piano. His hands are all bloody and everything.
Oh yeah,
and
it's like bloody when he was playing that piano. Oh my god, it was like
that has gotta be like number one, these showrunners have clearly seen Evil Dead more than once, and number two, like when the camera pans to seeing him playing and his fingers are all bloody and there's blood all over the piano, I'm just like, the CW allowed this.
Oh yeah, it's no
How?
surprise that the network show back then were able to get away a lot of the scenes that could be a little bit bloody and gruesome. I mean, look at it for instance. You know the show Hannibal, right? That aired on NBC at the time.
Oh
I
yeah,
watched that show from the first season. This shit is so graphic. It's R-rated on a network show. I could not believe that they got away with a lot of it.
The showrunners flex the fact that they have seen all the Nightmare on Elm Street movies and have at least seen The Ring at least once or twice. That was their blockbuster haul for that week, because in a certain scene where we see Chloe in a straitjacket, I was just saying there like, someone just watched the videotape and they've got about 4 days left.
Dude, that scene was fucking haunting.
No,
Chloe, we're living in that nightmare when she sees herself in the straitjacket. Oh my god! Like the way that they did that in that scene, the lighting and the makeup just
really
felt that was terrifying. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I remember when I watched that episode when it aired on television. I like the first time I only missed bits and pieces of it, and I fell asleep through half of it because I was so damn tired, and I was recording on my VHS tape so I can watch the whole thing in context. But yeah, the parts of it really fucking terrified me. Like my god, like Smallville. They're going more darker in this episode, more horror.
I am kind of screwing around with that, but that scene was legit. Like, it gave me the heebie-jeebies. Like seeing like Chloe in a way that we've like never seen her before, and there's like growth with her character across these 3 episodes. But we'll cross that bridge in a minute. But Jacob, what did you think of this episode overall?
Well, I mean, I really like this episode. My issue, one thing I had an issue with this episode, I have an issue with every episode, but like that's just part of it. But I was gonna say the opening I thought was fantastic. You know, it starts out like Lana is making out with Clark, then it becomes like an early 2000s movie. Like, remember that movie I got you to review with me, Gossip?
Yes, I do.
The music reminded me of that movie. I'm like, this reminds me of the movie Gossip. It just went from an episode of Smallville to like the movie Gossip. And they're making it hot and heavy, and all of a sudden I'm like, yeah, this reminds me of an early 2000s movie like Gossip. And then all of a sudden Jensen Ackles comes in and is like, what? And then she kills him after he beats up Clark. And I'm just like, okay, this is not real.
Yeah, because Clark is invincible. You know he doesn't have a kryptonite. And what I remember when they showed that promo of what Clark and Lana getting dirty here, and I didn't know what the fuck was going on in that promo. I was like, hey, what is going on right now? And then you watch it in the opening, like, this doesn't feel right. This feels so out of character between Clark and Lana. And then Jason comes swooping in and beat the crap out of him, basically murdering him.
My inner Gene Siskel was saying to myself, a dream sequence.
Hate when that happens. A dream sequence.
The images together from Lionel and from season.
Did you thought it was weird in the opening when that doctor just goes into her cell and trying to release her? That was a little too overdriven. Okay, Alicia, you get to come home now. Dun dun dun.
Makes no fucking sense. His motivation makes no sense. His motivation is basically like, I'm gonna set her free in hopes I can bang her soon because I did such a good deed by letting her go free. I'm like, what?
Is he like, I don't know how old Alicia is in this episode. She probably might be 17 or 18, but is he a fucking strike me as a pedophile now? He just wants to fuck Alicia.
Let's not go down.
File going, yeah, yes, yes, oh, God.
We will not be going down the road that we traveled down on the unedited episode 27.
Holy shit. By the way, I called her Sarah in my notes. I forgot. My bad. I don't know why I put Sarah, but her name's Alicia. But yeah, I put but I just think honestly, this doctor, this off-brand, this fucking Lionel Luthor wannabe. I guess he's a fan of Lionel Luthor. He's like, that would have been a much more interesting episode if he went to the prison and he was like a shrink for Lionel Luthor and he was trying to get inside Lionel's head. So he shows up and he's like, Lionel, I love you, Lionel. I can be with you.
You can
Lionel. What the fuck?
It's all for you, Lionel.
I mean, I'm just saying. By the way, that just reminded me of the Eminem. You ever watch that Eminem rap music video?
Stan. Oh, yeah.
I did.
I just thought about
that one.
Stan. I just reminded me of that
he's literally Stan writing fucking love letter to Lionel. Like, here, Lionel.
Saying he wants to be with him and puts a picture of him too. Get Eminem, and it was like,
I
What the
tattoo your
fuck?
name across my chest.
He
All of a
said, "What
sudden,
the
here
fuck?"
comes Dito for no reason. My tea's gone cold. I'm wondering why I got out of bed at all.
It's like,
Apparently, Alicia is the fucking.
literally, she's Eminem to this doctor because this doctor, I'm surprised this doctor is put lipstick on. He's like, Alicia, this is all for you, Alicia. I'm Clark now. Zoom, zoom, zoom.
Oh my god. Well, what a pleasant mental image that is.
Now it's in my brain.
Yeah, this doctor literally is just like, he literally stalking her, and he lets her out in hopes of getting with her. And also, the Sarah's like, he says, "Oh, I studied Clark. I know all about you. You're a bad, bad boy." And I'm just like, he says that to Clark, like, "Oh, you're a bad, bad boy. And you know what bad boy stuff." I'm like, he pulls out a gun. I'm just like, you have a gun, and what are you gonna do? You gonna shoot him? You're gonna
like, what's your plan in all this?
I'm gonna shoot you, and I'm gonna have you committed.
I'm gonna take you in, and I'm gonna stage this whole thing. I'm like, what? What is going on right now?
And also, he says he has a file on Clark, so you should know that those bullets are gonna not do anything. And I'm just like, this doctor is an idiot. Apparently,
so you're just gonna make a cover story that he kidnapped his patient and forced him to marry her, whatever you want. I was like, yeah, okay, that's kind of stupid.
She went crazy, and then all of a sudden, I brought my gun to try to apprehend her, and then he took my gun, and I shot him.
What is this? Like, what the fuck is this? Citizen's arrest?
I did not enjoy this episode, and I'm gonna tell you now, the bad guy in this fucking episode looks like a non-union, legally distinct fucking ripoff of Casper Van Dyne.
That is very true, yes.
Which is saying something, because Casper Van Dyne also looks like a non-union distinct actor. Like, this guy looks like the actor you'd choose when you don't have anybody else. Everyone says fucking no to you. You're just like, well, fuck, Casper Van Dyne, I guess. Come on, Casper.
What do you need for your direct-to-video action movie? Call
Casper.
The only peak movie that he's been in was Starship Troopers, and went nowhere.
After you get done filling up my soda, can you come out around from the counter, and can we go shoot this movie and then go back to waiting tables? Okay. All right, Casper. Come on, let's go.
All right, Mr. Van Dyne. Mr. Van Dyne, Gina Carano's booked. You want it?
I mean, just like literally Casper Van Dyne. Have you seen him in anything good in your life? I've like never seen him in anything.
The only thing good
he's
been in was Starship Troopers. That was just
Starship Troopers was okay, but like even
I went back and watched that film again.
They should have had somebody else, like Jake Busey. Gary Busey's son was better in that movie than Casper Van Dyne. Jake Busey.
I'm not saying his fucking acting performance is like Oscar worthy.
Neil Patrick Harris is in that movie.
And he's great. Neil Patrick Harris is great.
He's fantastic.
But they should have gave Neil the role. They should have made him the best friend, because there's no way I'd believe this dude's an actor. He's just like, hi, Dad, I am going to do this. And I'm just like, this dude reminded me of Casper Van Dyne, which I'm like, you should never want anyone to remind you of Casper Van Dyne. Just like, I look like Casper Van Dyne.
Let's abandon ship on that. But the dog, as soon as he gets to Kent Farm, it raises all kinds of ruckus. And there's been tons of movies, like as soon as an animal shows up, it's just like all like hell breaks loose, and like the table gets destroyed. I love the line from Annette O'Toole is like Clark did that when he was only 3. And I'm like, I need to see footage of that, please.
Well, yeah, because I mean, if he was 3 years old, he's about to like not control his own strength. And I think that that was interesting that she brought up, like, Clark. Remember when Clark did that one time? He accidentally broke the table.
All I can picture is like Bam Bam from the Flintstones. He's like, bam, bam, bam. But
when she throws the knife at Clark, when they're just sword fight, and then she throws the blade at Clark.
Yeah, she throws the dagger
randomly
at Clark.
Just stands there like this, like, oh, I was like,
why didn't you move, idiot?
Like, you saw it, and he sees it coming. The worst.
Why didn't you just fucking Matrix that? Why didn't you just do the Matrix style?
Closer. Closer. Oh no, it's like that scene that Ryan was talking about in The Omen, where Ryan's like, "Get out of the way." Ryan, you know what I'm talking about, Ryan?
Yeah, I know exactly.
Describe it to Matt. The scene. Describe to Matt. It gets more funnier when you describe this.
So Matt, have you ever seen the movie The Omen?
No.
Well, I won't. This is like out of context, so it's not a spoiler. But there is a priest, and he is standing in the courtyard of his church, and he is convinced that the main child Damien is the devil, and goes to his father, played by Gregory Peck, is like, this child is of the devil, and Gregory Peck's like, I don't believe you, and storms off. So priest is walking through the courtyard, right? He looks up. Up top there are statues that are holding spears. Next thing you know, statue throws a spear down at the priest. The priest looks up and goes, ah! As the spear is coming down, it goes, ah! And he's like coming down, like, ah! And then, then stabs him through the chest. And I'm just, I had to cover this for my Scary Mania series last year. I'm like, priest, move out of the way. Father, move
out of the way. It's like Austin Powers, where that security guard was still standing there was slowly driving right in front of him.
I mentioned it. He goes, that was in a comedy.
It's like,
move.
Like, move.
The funniest part of that is when Ryan's like yelling, get out of the way, get out of the way. And then when he goes, why didn't you get out of the way?
I know, it's like every cliche of TV shows and movies where someone is about to get hit something and they see it coming, but they don't dodge out of the way.
It's like so stupid. It's like,
I don't know if it was
poor. Oh my God.
I don't even know. I don't even know if it's a fucking poor editing choice that it just made it look like it's longer than it from his end.
Like, in the words of the wise philosopher Ludicrous, move, bitch, get out the way, get out the way. Bitch.
Oh my God, play that scene with him about to get stabbed with a blade, and then just play Ludicrous on move, bitch, get out the way.
Move, bitch, get out the way, get out the way, bitch, get out the
about Martin Becker, who is just a complete idiot. Number one, he steals a cop car. Number one, how did he pull this off in Smallville, a very small town?
With a sheriff that's like literally like Texas Ranger Chuck Norris goes, oh, he says, Mr. Kent, and I guarantee you she's figuring out a way. I wonder how the Kents are involved in this. I swear, I wonder how the Kents are involved in this.
See, Sheriff Adams has her priorities in order, but then the dude is like, I will hold you for 50 million bearer bonds. And
I will hold you 50 bearer bonds.
And then he gives him a sandwich and says, oh, by the way, they said the sandwich, that one has tomatoes. The one
that one has no tomatoes. The Stickers has no tomatoes. And then Lois was able to put two and two together. Like, how did he know you didn't like tomatoes? Busted. He was so stupid. Like, you just literally gave away the fucking secret, you idiot.
Like, because there's no tomatoes. He knows Lucy doesn't like any tomatoes. Oh yeah, but the one without the one with the sticker, there's no tomatoes. And I was like, what?
When that happened, I facepalmed so hard that I felt like I went to the other astral plane like Doctor Strange, and I came back into my body, and I was looking at bald Tilda Swinton. I was like, teach me. Like, that's how hard that went.
You're supposed to be the mastermind, and you're not that bright. And I don't think that he's the mastermind. I think Lucy's the mastermind. He's just a pawn.
But the way he was talking reminded me of a cartoon character. He's like, yes, get on the ground. And I'm just like, oh my God, like, seriously? What?
He is so over, that was so over the top.
We've seen him talk. He's been in X-Men 2 as William Stryker's right-hand man.
I remember,
He's literally been in Halloween Town as Calabar's father, or Halloween Town 2, sorry.
His fake father, the frog
man.
The frog man.
We've seen him act. We know he's a British accent in real life. We know he can act.
It almost sounds like he tries to pull off the Russian accent, and it was not that good.
It's a terrible. I would have said, hey, can we go again? Can we go again? Do that. Go with a British accent, man. You sound great with a British.
Harrison Ford's Russian accent in K-19, The Widowmaker, was better than this.
Yes, get on the ground. You're now. Yes, I'm going to get on the ground.
Get on the ground. I want the $50 million. Nah.
Honestly, Schwarzenegger would have been a much better fit for that. But
dude, man.
really some of like Lex's best lines are in this. Like Jacob pointed it out to me, like, wait to the scene in the barn. And I'm like, okay, we're in the barn now. And he's like, when Lex is like his gun pointed to like to Martha, shoots Jonathan, and she's like, what do you want? And I'm like, I want the world. And I'm like, that's so good.
What do you want?
The world, Mrs. Kent. And your son's gonna help me bring it to its knees. Like that.
I am the villain of the story.
I can see what they're doing, what he's doing. I can see it, I feel it. I can, he's cooking.
Like, no, the barn is literally the best scene of the entire episode. Like,
I am
oh
the
my
villain of
God.
the story.
Yeah, but the one thing that a little bit upset me and it bothered me, like, did he just walk out of the barn and let them go to the hospital? Like, that's it? Off screen? Like, what?
Like,
that's it?
That's really? I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with this?
Did he
like,
just suddenly
scene?
just after he says that line, his bad guy monologue, and then it just cuts
All
off?
right, I said
screen?
my lines. I'm out. Peace.
Like, peace. Go to the hospital, get treated.
I am the
I'll
villain
kill you
of the
later.
story. Now I am going to leave as you reflect on that.
But also, I just love the fact that Alex was able to
Reflect on my
know
thoughts.
his secret and knows his weakness, and now he has power over him whenever he wants to, and that makes him even more dangerous.
Lana's whole relationship could best be described as like what Robin Williams described as people playing footsie, like, will you blow me?
By the way, look, I got a funny story about. I got a funny story about footsie that I'm not gonna tell you guys on camera.
Does it have to? Was that in the stand-up special that Robin Williams did years ago?
It was his last one. Yes,
It was. That's what I thought of what you were talking about. Like, what?
I got a funny footsie
That's
story.
the
I'm gonna
best
tell you
way
guys
to
off camera.
describe it. It was like a will you? Maybe for like 4 seasons.
Baby, blow me.
Just remind me after the stream and ask me about the footsie story at high school. I got a funny story to tell you guys off camera. I'm not telling you on camera. Fuck no, I'm not telling that story on camera. I got a funny story on off camera about that. but yeah, I really like that though. They're dancing, and by the way, I hope you put the clip in of like you and me playing with them dancing because that is such a good moment. And I like how Jason comes in there and just gives Clark that dirty look, like, motherfucker, I'm gonna deal with you in the next couple of.
I was like, you piece of shit, Clark.
Like he's like, I'm gonna get you. Oh, I'm gonna get you, Kent, in a couple of.
Yeah, and then he's gonna yell, Sammy.
Like he's like, Kent, you piece of shit, like because she's like smiling like this, like happy, like because like yeah, dude, she's with someone her own age, dude. She's not with you or Lex. Because she actually, he's her age. She has. You're way too old for her, bro. It's like, yeah, of course she feels comfortable with someone her age rather than a freaking old man.
Yeah, to quote The Rock, like, she's with someone her own age, you sick freak.
I wanted to ask this for a couple weeks now. Have you guys missed Pete being on the show or no?
Oh yeah, I've always missed Pete on the show. I
don't really feel like I miss him, but I don't really think about him. I almost like
I'm with you on that. I am with you on that. Like I do miss his presence on the show. But at the same time, you don't really think about it because you're so well invested in the story that you don't really. He's not really on your mind at the moment.
It's not like because he's not like a person like, for instance, like when Walking Dead, when Rick left it, Walking Dead, you're like, oh, I miss Rick.
No, but when it comes to Rick, like, yeah, you miss the guy like all the time because he was the leading man on the show.
Yeah.
Compared to like this, where it's like you have the leading man on the show.
Yeah, we still have a lot of important main characters that we're still in. We only had one character that left the show.
I will say I do like that, like we still Lois is a good replacement for Pete because Lois is great.
Oh yeah, the scene in the barn where she was telling him, like, even though you don't have all the memories of your life, you could still play the game. You have to trust your instinct of who you trust other people, which I love the advice that she gave to Clark, which that was a good part of that episode that I really liked.
Yeah, that was an all-timer Lois moment right there.
Like, how does the baby age up like that? Did she fuck Doomsday from Batman versus Superman?
And now for something completely different.
Didn't Chloe mention that she was one of the meteor infected at the Wall of Weird or something?
My only question is what was going on at that party? Like, I
Well,
need
she had a one night stand with this guy, and suddenly a week later she got
Man, that
knocked up.
orgasm must have been mind bending. She went,
Maybe there was
Like,
something in her
"Ah!"
that can actually fucking age rapidly, whatever she's infected in.
they've been talking about making a sequel to Project X. Well, Project X writers, there you go.
all of a sudden, just imagine he goes to orgasm, and all of a sudden it looks like the house in Poltergeist. It just lights up and everything. And he's
It would
like,
look like
"Oh,
it would probably look like a fucking Jackson Hole painting.
stay away from the veg, Carol Ann. Stay away from the veg. Don't go to the line.
Don't go to the line. No.
And the lady pops out afterwards. This house is clean.
This house is clean.
By the way, there's an episode of American Dad just like that, where Francine can have an orgasm. Stan keeps faking the orgasm. So basically, because she has a terrible lay, her vagina is making like a poltergeist in the house. And
no.
Oh my
and
God.
then Roger's like the lady and says, "You need to go there. You need to satisfy your wife." And then he lies again. She says, "Yeah, it was good." And it says, "Now the house is shrinking. You need to go in there and screw her now." Like, you gotta watch. It's a really funny episode of American Dad.
Oh
I gotta send you the clip so that way you can put it for reference. It's so funny.
On the last day of Smallville High before graduation, the emotionally disturbed and frustrated photographer of the torch, Brendan Nash, no relation to Kevin Nash, feels rejected by the universities and decides to abduct some schoolmates to stay with him forever in a replica of the school because, like Jacob pointed out earlier, he had just watched the Vincent Price classic House of Wax and was like, I have an idea. He uses his power of Medusa touch, okay, of turning people into stone and then covering them in what I'm going to assume is donut glaze, and let us not look any further into why the substance is.
Oh no, he was giving something to him. All right, it's like, why is that smell? It smells really funky. He goes, he was really excited that day. Let's just say he worked overtime that night.
He got overexcited and then boom.
He was literally like taking care of himself, going, "Everyone's watching to see what you do. Everybody's working for the weekend."
He was taking schools out.
He went all risky business style.
He was taking schools out forever a little too literally.
Also, does anyone realize the plot of this makes no sense? How did he build that?
Let me finish.
That's one thing I wanted to bring up. How the fuck did he able to replicate? So identical. How the hell did he do it?
I know you're chomping at the bit, but please let me finish.
Can I finish? Please, can I finish? Okay, I'm finished.
A Medusa touch of turning people into stone by mere touch, and brings Lana, Chloe, and other successful schoolmates to the place. While Clark teams up with the nosy Lois to find the other students, he also talks with Jonathan and Martha over his college choices after graduation. Meanwhile, Genevieve and Jason Teague kidnap Lionel and Lex Luthor and hold them hostage in the Unabomber's cabin, in a remote mountain cabin, and torture both of them to try and retrieve the second mystical stone that Lionel took from them. So, you guys have the floor. Talk about how this plot makes no sense.
Like I brought up, like how the fuck did this dude able to replicate the fucking identical to Smallville
He would
High?
have to hire a construction company to come build the school. Exactly. He had to take photos, and I can imagine because he's a photographer. I'll imagine he takes the photos. But then how does he hire a construction company to come build this? Hey guys, you have this day. You have this day, or else you have this day to build the whole entire school like that.
Like didn't he mention that he forced his dad to do all that shit and then he killed him?
I don't know, but from what I know is that, let's just say Miller and Goff may have inspired Inception, because like this dude literally like trying to keep them in a literal dream it's like the plot of Inception.
But also you literally want to keep some of these high school girls in the same place for eternity, but he's the kind of guy who has a hard time letting go because he feels like his life is going nowhere after high school, which was kind of a stupid
Get a job at
motivation. But
McDonald's,
also,
dude. I mean,
you're gonna
come
be
on.
you're gonna be fucking be old by the time until the day you die. Like,
Be
how
like
does that
Steve
make any
Buscemi.
sense?
He'll be like Steve Buscemi walking up on a skateboard and going,
How do you
"Hey,
do,
my
fellow kids?
Hey
hey,
guys,
my fellow kids, get late to class." It's like, oh,
you late to
step
class?
to
That was so stupid. Like, dude, you're not ageless. So how the hell you're gonna pull that off?
I'm just saying, this dude must have a really good time in high school for him to want to keep high school going.
I
Yeah,
know
I
he
don't
must
know
have
what,
he must had a really great time there.
I don't know what this dude's problem was, but like high school for me was not fun. So like
Yeah, some
I
people
couldn't.
couldn't. Yeah, but some people would be fucking glad to get out of that school.
I'm just saying, this dude was literally like, "Oh my god, he says, I got a great idea. I'm gonna rebuild the high school and then make everyone go there." Yeah, nobody would figure out. And also, he's killing people. He's literally kidnapping people by the picture.
It's like, oh, not all of us got into college. Well, first of all, you don't need to go to college to get good fucking jobs. So let's be realistic here. No, you don't have to go to college to do all that shit.
Elon Musk said you don't have to go to college.
Yep.
I don't know if that's true or not. He went to college.
I mean,
I'm sure he did.
I mean, he's way more richer than we are, so maybe he's on to something.
Tony Hawk did not go to college.
That's
true.
Very true. Yeah, but
I'm just saying, like, you don't really. And also, on top of that, the idea of the episode is, this is where I feel like, okay, you lost me. Where he literally is just like he's freezing people or whatever, and on top of that, he's like literally like, "Hey, I'll see you at lunch." How are you going to feed them for 10 years plus?
Yeah,
you don't
like,
have any money because you don't have
where
a
do you
job.
where do
Like,
you get your here's say where
what
do you
if the
get
power
food
goes
supplies?
out? What if
Yeah.
the power goes out? What if a twister happens?
It just raises too many questions.
Oh, here's this line right here.
Before you leave this earth, I want you to know you did create the son you always wanted.
I can see what they're doing, what he's doing. I can see it, I feel it. He's cooking.
Damn, Lex got more darker.
You hear that line?
The line from Lex that he gave to his dad.
Yeah, that's
now Lex is not good anymore. He's now proto. I don't call him. He's not the official. Like, this is Lex Luthor we all know and hate. He's more like proto Lex, evil Lex.